It's time for the show that engages with people of the combat sports world. And now, presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed combat sports show champion of the world, Flash Knockdown.
Right, so you unbelievably managed to submit Marcus in the last minute of the third round via rear naked choke. However, you could have easily continued with the ground and pounds as the referee was close to stopping it. Why did you choose at that moment to go for the submission?
I believe he gave me the submission. I believe I was peppering him with the strikes. I was raining them down. They were heavy shots, but I feel like he put his neck up. He wasn't wanting any more of it, man. So, when they give you it, you may as well just take it. And I'm glad I got the finish, man. I imagine I went to decision. I'm wanting finishes. I've got a 100% finish rate. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to lose that. So I've took the finish and got it done any way that I can.
Wow. And did you revel in the moment of silencing the crowd? Because you jumped on the cage. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. I jumped right in the cage, man. I had a few friends that came down to Liverpool, obviously, to support me. He had a big, massive crowd. And obviously, his crowd were loud as anything, obviously. But to silence them was a great moment, man. Jump on the cage and just revel in it, man. That was great. And being in the Echo and that as well. Like I said, it was a big show, a pivotal moment for me in my career to fight on Cage Warriors, beat the hometown guy, jump on the cage, obviously, and have just a great time, man. It was a great experience, even just being down in Liverpool. It was class.
Yep, correct. And can you remember the buzz that followed you? As we touched on, Marcus is a very high-level martial artist, so that win must have helped to get your name out there.
Yeah, especially down south. I was like, obviously, most of my fights had been up in Scotland.
Yeah.
Until I came down and fought Denny, and then I came down and fought Marcus. So that's 2 fights down south. I feel like I was starting to get a name, and I started to get followers. People reach out to me and that from down south. Obviously, up in Scotland, the people know me, but down south, it definitely got my name out there. And obviously, beating the hometown guy, it was great, man. I'd say skyrocketed me up there a bit.
Really?
And just being around the show, man. That show was great. Like, I remember seeing like Danny Hot Chocolate was there. I can't remember his second name. He was in the UFC.
Yeah. He trains at Aspire in Liverpool.
Aye, loads of guys kicking about, Paddy Pimblett, stuff like that. There's loads of big high level guys here. I mean, to get the win there and that was great. You know what I mean? It was a great experience.
Oh, Roberts.
Yeah, that's it. Danny Hot Chocolate Roberts. That's the guy. I mean, seeing loads of guys. It was cool.
Yeah. Wow. And on the show, Marcus admitted that he just wasn't ready to face you and essentially thanked you for making him a better all-round fighter.
To be honest, I was slightly happy not happy. No one's ever happy at getting beat. So I'm not going to sit here and say I was made up at getting beat, because I obviously weren't. But the way I got beat and getting beat itself was both. First, it was a lesson. Because if you see now, most of my fights, I've took what he's done and I've ended up using it to too much of an extent, really. But, like, if you watch that fight back, to be honest, there's moments, if you actually watch, there's moments we work on the ground so much. It was our own short-sightedness a little bit to not think. He might just want to push us against the cage. We thought he's going to get us down to the ground. And Marcus is ready to get up. So it was unpreparedness, basically.
What do you feel separates you from the rest?
My mindset. That 100% has to be my mindset. The way I look at the game, and not only the game, the way I look at life, and working the mind. Like, I believe you work the mind more than you work the body. Like, the body will go where the mind will take it. So when I'm not training, I train twice a day. When I'm not training, I'm reading books, I'm meditating, I'm trying to work my brain and neuroplasticity and teach myself new stuff, you know what I mean? Or I'm studying fights. And that's what separates me and what will separate me when I'm one of the greatest of all time. And I'll be telling everyone this, it's a mindset, man. All I do is train my mind. And
What
that's
book are you reading?
separated me.
What book are you reading at the moment? Because you're always
Right now I'm reading Daring Greatly by Brené Brown. But man, I go through books like it's gone into fashion. Man, I read every day, so I'm constantly going through books. I've got a great book selection. And I
Love
only
that.
read books. I only read like self-development books, self-help books, psychology books, books that will benefit me. I've not got time to be reading stories about
novels.
that never happened.
Yeah. Good for you,
to be
man.
inspiring, motivating, and I'm gonna get something. You know what I mean?
Well done, man. I love that. Well done. That's brilliant, Mark. So let's now move on to your first fight of 2019, which was initially meant to be James Bunting, a guy we will get on to later, but instead you faced Swede Ola Jakobsen. I may be wrong, but was that your first fight representing higher level MMA?
Yeah, spot on, man. That was my first fight representing higher level on Top Promotions. That was the one, yeah.
On top. So why the change to higher level, and has the move benefited your MMA development?
Oh man, the difference in me training at higher level right now is night and day. So what happened is we made the move, me and my fellow teammate who was at Headhunters, Keir Harvey. Young boys training from Falkirk, both from Falkirk obviously, so we were training at Headhunters, but like he'd just turned pro, I was getting ready for a fight, and then we were the only two guys in. Sometimes, man, and we're like, what the fuck, this is crazy. We need training partners, we need committed coaches and training staff to get the best out of us and obviously commit to us so we can obviously chase our dreams, because we made it vocal that we wanted to be great, we wanted to do well, and we just like that reciprocation from our coaches and everybody else around us. But it's hard when not everyone else is as committed as used to. Not everyone is really there to be a fighter. They're just there for like a fitness class and they just happen to be all right so they can jump in with us now and then. But we were the only kind of two active fighters who were in the gym at the time. And we're like, we need to go somewhere else. And higher level is the place to be, man. If you're in Scotland and you don't train at higher level, I don't know what you're doing, because like I say, we've got the guys in the UFC and stuff like that. We've had James Dillon's had multiple world champions. He's guys at the pinnacle of the sport. You know what I mean? So we made that move. We feel like that was the right move to make. And man, I do not regret it once. I do not regret it at all, man. The development I've made since joining high level is crazy. And especially in my grappling, man. Wait till you see me grapple next. I cannot wait. The grappling up there and the wrestling, stuff like that. Oh, it's next level shit, man. I can't wait to perform again and just show everybody how much I've developed even since my last fight.
Brilliant. And so, yeah, I've got to ask you at this point then, Mark, back in July 2020, you managed to get out to UFC Fight Island supporting teammate Danny the Hatchet Henry, who was part of the blockbuster UFC 251 cards, headlined by Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal. Describe to us the experience and how it provided you with a glimpse of the future.
That was a great experience for me, man. And that experience came about, obviously, because I trained with Danny. But James is smart that way. He knows where I'm going to be. He knows what I'm going to accomplish. So he's brung me along to get a glimpse, you know what I mean? To see it, to experience it before I get there. So
Clever.
being out there in Abu Dhabi for the first Fight Island was a madness,
I know,
man. It was crazy. It was a big chartered flight and all that. Flying first class. It was crazy to be out there and see all these big names. I was like, I seen Jorge, I seen Kamara, I seen Aldo, I seen Peter Yan, seen everybody that was on the card. I seen them all, and just Max Holloway, Volkanovski, just seen them all, size them up and stuff. I was like, this is where I meant to be, man. That was a great experience. I goosebumps thinking about it right now, man.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
The first Fight Island, that was madness, man. Because it's just like, obviously I watch Embedded, I watch the countdowns, I watch all this stuff, but I only watch it because this is where I want to be. So I can visualize it, and that when I do my visualization and so I can see where I want to be. But to be there in real life and experience it, it's totally different. It's totally different, man. Being there and obviously walking out with Danny, having the fight and stuff like that in the corner. Oh, it was crazy, man. That will definitely be one of the best experiences of my life, definitely.
Yeah, that's very shrewd by James, eh?
James is smart like that. James knows exactly what he's doing, man. He's a few steps ahead of everybody, man, when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's had like amateur guys that haven't fought. He'll make sure they're at like kind of regional shows and they
Yeah.
go through the corner, they go through the motion, so they see it and they experience it, so they know what it's like when they fight. And it was the exact same with me taking me to the UFC with him. It was
Clever.
great, man.
Yeah, man. So in the first round versus Ola, it appeared like you landed a clean jab, which was the start of your combination punches, but the ref stopped it for what I believe was an eye poke, causing some confusion. Can you clarify what the ref warned you about, please, Mark?
So the ref never warned me. The ref actually stopped the fight, man. He'd waved the fight off. So I'd thought I'd won. So
Yeah,
I was
because you
like,
put your
nice,
hands
I've
up.
won.
Yeah, you put
Yeah,
your
I
hands
put
up.
I thought I'd won, but then the ref was like, actually, I might have made a shit decision. So we need to fight again. But the funny thing is that ref's actually known for making the most ridiculous calls
Ha
ever.
ha 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 ha.
Yeah,
ha,
I mean,
ha.
so he's called the fight off. I think I've won. He's like, yeah, you need to fight again. And then we'll obviously get into it. He robbed me in the walk-off KO.
Oh,
I had my
man.
peaching right hand, slept him. I
Oh,
walk
man.
away. The referee's just like, doesn't have a clue what he's doing. I need to go back and hit him an extra few strikes that are unnecessary. But
Unnecessary. Yeah,
what it is.
unnecessary.
I'll take
Yeah.
a walk-off anyway. That's what I'm calling it, a walk-off KO, because he got slept.
He did. I mean, you must have been pissed at that.
I was happy to get the win, but
Of course, but
for him to do that to me, obviously with the walk-off, I was like, come on, man. This
ridiculous.
This
Ridiculous.
is
I
a
don't
fight.
think
And even for my opponent, I shouldn't have to give him the unnecessary shots. He was out cold. You need to put the fighter first, you know what I mean?
yeah, I think he must have gone to the same refereeing school as Mario Yamasaki. Without a single scratch on you, the call came to fight for the vacant, made for the cage, lightweight strap. 4 weeks later, against top amateur Farouk, representing Manchester top team. How soon after your fight with Ola was this opportunity put on your radar?
I think it was actually a match before. Like I said, I like to have a few fights booked, man.
Oh,
So I can
really?
just run through them all. I think
But it was only-
matched.
But it was only 4 weeks later. So you
Yeah,
were confident.
Oh, always, man. Like I said, I had the 3 fights against Martin, Denny, and Martin and Marcus Lewis. They were all booked.
I know.
The time I fought Nathan Hughes, they were all booked. I like that. I like to have all my fights kind of booked, and then I'll rest after. Yeah, I mean, like a season in a way. So I'll have like 3 fights and then chill. So I'm sure I definitely had that fight booked. I might be wrong, but I'm sure I had that fight booked before I fought Ola. Was it Ola?
Yeah.
Aye.
Ola and then Farouk.
Yeah, and the Farouk. So I'm sure I had that fight booked definitely. But I like quick turnarounds, man. Yeah, I like being active. Doesn't give me a chance to go out and eat shit and get too heavy. I need to be zoned in, locked in, goal minded, like you said, disciplined, man. So I much prefer to have fights booked.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. So at this point, you were on a 6-fight winning streak and finishing all of your fights. You were the overwhelming favorite. Did you feel any pressure against Farouk?
I never actually knew I was a favorite of that man, but like once I've heard the name Farouk, obviously I knew it was Russian. You obviously, if you think of Russians, I think this is going to be a hard fight. So once again, I've got a big hard fight here. I trained hard for it. I put some serious work in for it. And ended up getting the win. But it was a great fight, man. It was a big show as well. Get my first belt, man. That was some experience.
Yeah, and he came out throwing bombs, much like Ola did. Yet again, you just read everything he threw, stayed calm, and waiting to land that killer blow, which of course you did. I guess you agree with Conor McGregor when he says,
"But precision beats power, and timing beats speed."
Every time, man. Every time. I remember when he came at me with the barrage of punches, and we clinched for about a half a second. And I think my corner were worried because obviously he just came at me like a bat from hell. I remember saying, "I'm all right." Like I looked over his shoulders, like, "I'm all right." We broke for a second. He came on our barrage. I'm going to get him here. I threw a nice short right hand. That put him down. and I think he was away with it when he grabbed the single leg. He left his neck out. I cinched up the rear naked choke, and that was it, signed, sealed, and sent. But like I said, I'm composed in there, especially when it comes to the striking. You can throw whatever you want at me, man. I'm gonna bide my time, and I'm gonna get my shots off. And when I get my shots off, people are going to sleep.
Wow, love it, man, love it. So you just touched on it there, Mark. So just like versus Marcus Lewis, you could have continued landing heavy blows, but again, you took the back and went for the rear naked choke, finishing the fight in style. How important is fighting IQ, and is that a quality that's sometimes underrated?
Definitely underrated, 100%. I would say fighting IQs nearly everything, man. You're not going. You can get away with being an athlete only for so long. You can get away with having good like technique only for so long, but IQ is what wins fights. IQ is what will make you a champion. Being able to read a fight, set up strikes, set up takedowns, set up submissions. Just being a smart fighter, making reads, adjusting. Fight IQ, in my opinion, is everything. It's something that I really am working on right now. Is just building my fight IQ, setting traps, setting up moves, a few moves ahead, funnel and stuff, you know what I mean? Letting my opponent go down a path that I know he's going to end up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just watching Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson, who had Francis Ngannou, and he said the difference between his first fight with Stipe in 2018 and the fight a couple of weeks ago was his fight IQ. In the first fight, he just rushed forwards. In this fight, he used his brain more. He was a lot more composed.
I was the same, man. I used to be like that. I was an athletic young kid. I could throw punches, kicks. I could throw it all. I was athletic, you know what I mean? I could do it all. But that's when I actually joined higher level. I was like, you're not going to get away with just being an athlete. These guys are smarter than you know what I mean? When I'm striking, they're taking me down. They're doing certain things that I need to make reads on. So obviously, once I joined higher level, I realised it's a thinking man's sport. You know what I mean? You need to be thinking at all times. Sweet science.
Correct.